everyone. We are back for our last Central Coast market update of 2023. And boy, we have had so much fun doing this.
We have.
It's been a good time.
Yes.
We hope you all have enjoyed it as well.
Today we're going to share the November stats from the California Regional MLS, along with some big, exciting news. And we wanted to share some takeaways that we got from listening to Brian Buffini's bold predictions last week. So Serena, do you want to share some exciting news?
Generally, for November, the stats are kind of flat. The months of inventory have crept up to a seasonal high of around 8 months, which is higher than it has been. The number of sales for November of 2023 was similar to December of 2022 at 163 sales. Not very high, relatively. Right?
Normal for this time of year.
And then the days to sell is sitting at around 13 days, which is only for comparing those houses that have actually sold.
You know, that's really typical though, as you mentioned, because inventory will tend to crest this time of year because fewer people move, but I've always felt like our clients that are in the hunt sometimes get very good deals at this time because there's more to pick from.
I know we're looking, so hopefully January will be a good month.
But the exciting news, especially for sellers out there, the median prices are still holding high at a historical high for our county at $870,000.
Wow.
That is good news for those of you homeowners out there.
That is so great to hear, Serena. I think it's really good news for all of our buyers and sellers out there. It was also very encouraging for me after we listened to Brian Buffini's bold predictions last week because he was talking about how rates are expected to drop to the mid-sixes by spring of next year, which is amazing, and then to be back into the fives by late next year, which is very exciting.
It's already starting to happen.
It is. Yeah. So Darryl, what do you think about all of that?
I think it's amazing. It just in the last 45 days, we've seen rates drop from a peak of over 8% on a conventional loan to a point now where they're back in the 6% range.
Yeah.
You know, in some cases, I had a quote on a purchase loan today at about 6.5% at one point cost on a conventional loan.
Great.
On a conforming loan. That's a very significant change that's happening now as we speak. And I do think that interest rates will continue to downtrend this next year. And we've seen 15-year fixed products that are now quoting in the 5% range. FHA loans, governmental loans, which are government subsidized, I'm seeing quotes on those about 5.65, 5.75% range today at one point cost. So it's been a significant drop, and as lenders, we couldn't be more excited.
Yeah.
That has been big news. Equity is still at an all-time high, as you were saying. So we're getting a lot of inquiries still for home equity lines of credit, reverse mortgages from our borrowers that are over 62 years of age, and people who want to make use of that equity, and also 1031 exchanges, which we were talking about just before we went live with this session. So with equity up and rates coming down, I think we're going to begin to see more movement in this market and probably a more normal market next year.
I'm very excited. Another thing Brian was predicting is that next year in the fourth quarter, it's supposed to be record-breaking. So I look forward to that.
Well, I believe it. We all feel hopeful, and it's unusual that we've had such high prices and also just the higher rates. It's been not so good for first-time home buyers because of the affordability. And for anybody, the affordability's been a challenge, but we're seeing that getting a little bit better now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be helpful to us all next year.
I think so too.
I thought an intriguing point that Brian also brought up in his bold predictions was that the city of Dallas-Fort Worth, or that region, has built more homes than the whole state of California in this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just the challenge for home builders to be providing inventory is such a barrier in the state. So it will continue to contribute to the low inventory, which I think continues to pose a barrier for us, especially the first-time home buyer. I would hope that we can encourage you to know that you still have a chance, especially talking to a lender like Darryl and finding out what your resources are and what you have available to you.
Absolutely. And I agree with you that areas like Dallas-Fort Worth, for instance, for those cities that have invested in new housing and are allowing it, that type of thing, they're going to end up much better just in terms of housing stock and having options and things like that. Their markets are going to be that much more diverse, but it's tough to beat living in California.
Yes.
It really is.
And our lifestyle is fantastic. So we also have some great news in the loan industry. We have higher loan limits for next year. So every year they raise the loan limits, and it helps our buyers to have that much more leverage if they choose to buy real estate. The new conforming loan limit next year will be $766,500. $766,500. And then in San Luis Obispo County, the new high balance loan limit will be $929,500. And those limits are significant for realtors. They will affect your contracts. You know, that's a lot of leverage where it can help you to buy homes that much easier, you know, with an FHA loan, which requires as little as 3.5% down. Conventional loan typically is 3, but mostly 5% down minimum. It too will be helpful. And then the other big piece of news that we had in our loan industry was just Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac updated their guidelines to allow 95% financing for owner-occupied 2 to 4 unit homes, which means that as a first-time home buyer, or you don't have to be a first-time home buyer, but if you occupy one of them, you can rent the other 1, 2, 3 units. Then you have a rental income stream that can help you to pay that mortgage. Your tenants can help to pay your mortgage that way. And it just creates a little bit more opportunity that way. So all of those things are going to help.
I think so too. And another thing, just from the bold predictions, was Brian was saying there's big pin-up demand with buyers, and then also move-up sellers. So there's a lot of sellers that don't necessarily love their home, but they love the rate. Like Cody and I are an example. We love our rate, but we want another house. So I'm looking forward to that for us for next year. And a lot of my clients that have just been kind of waiting out the market to see what's going to happen.
People's housing needs change.
They do.
And it became a luxury to not only move up, but even to downsize. With the higher rates, if you go from a 3% interest rate to 8, then it's a little bit more painful. As they come back down now into the 6s, even 5s in some cases, it makes it more palatable.
2024 is going to be a good year, I think, for everyone.
Ladies, I'm always so happy when you include me to do this. What are you guys grateful for this year?
Well, for me, I think this year in real estate, it was slower, you know? So for me, I think I had more of an opportunity to really focus on my relationships, you know, my family, my friends, and new clients that have become like family and friends to me. And I think real estate, some people just think of it as so transaction-based, but to me, it's not. It's about building the relationship and building trust and creating relationships that last a lifetime. And for me, I really think I focused on that a lot this year, and I met a lot of new, amazing, and great people.
That's awesome. There's a lot to that. They say in the real estate business that those deeper connections equate to consistency.
I think so too.
And like you said, less transactional. It's important.
I think it's important just to show people you care. You know, it's not just about how many houses you're selling in a year or how many loans you're funding. You know, it's, to me, the reason I got into this business is to help people, and that's what I love doing at the end of the day. So I think I did that a lot this year, and I'm proud of that.
It's great.
You definitely did.
You demonstrate
I think
that.
we all did.
Enjoyed our client party.
Yeah, it was very fun.
How about you, Serena?
So this year, one of the things that I really enjoyed doing, and I was fortunate enough to do it with Darryl, was doing a homeowner seminar for a local labor force and their apprentices to help show them that they're able to stay on the Central Coast and become homeowners on the Central Coast, to help them be a little bit more grounded and rooted in our community and not maybe so transitional in their life. Especially a lot of them are local and their families, maybe generations, have grown up in the area. Being able to provide them information and education on their options and their resources, and then having Darryl provide even more information on the lending side so that they know what's available to them.
Yeah,
It was
amazing.
really fun, and it was fun to see how excited that they got, and hear that they were still talking about it even a month or so after the seminar. So.
That's so great to hear. Yeah, it was moving for me too. I think about it all the time and still talk to some of those people, and yeah, it affected me in a profound way too.
Darryl, what's something you're grateful for this year?
Oh boy, I'm grateful for a lot of things these days, especially for good health. And my wife had some issues, a lot of which she's working through. You know, in my business, sometimes people call and reach out to me, and just as people are getting older, the grain of America, we're seeing a lot of that, where people are inquiring about reverse mortgages or home equity lines of credit, that Darryl, we need to subsidize elderly care. I'm grateful, you know, for my parents, my family, friends like you, and people I work with. And I guess just as a reminder, it's good to have your financial house in order, so to speak. And I don't know, to me, the numbers are calming. The numbers don't lie. And for me, that's a big part of what I do. And so, yeah, I'm grateful for the people that I have worked with this year. It was definitely a year with fewer transactions, but the ones that I did work with were also very, very meaningful to me. And I felt like I went deeper with the relationships I have too.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, I think we have a lot to look forward to next year.
I do
as well.
too. I'm very excited.
I think it will be a healthy, more normal market as well.
I do too. I think everyone's looking forward to that.
Yes.
I think too, like what Brian said in the predictions, it's interesting how they do their predictions because they're looking at past history. It's based on historical info. Made me feel good listening to that.
And some of it too is based upon current information too, that with the Federal Reserve, for instance, indicating that they're going to cut rates 3 times next year. Like, God, it's about time. And I understand where they say that they're data dependent, but I think it's always good to be looking forward toward where the puck is going, not where it's already been.
I think
that
so
type
too.
of thing. So I like a combination of both.
Yeah.
And Brian Buffini is one of my favorites. He's just a wonderful man. I've studied under him before too, and I like his concepts.
I do too. He really knows what he's talking about.
You know, we keep talking about the bold predictions, but another comment that was made that stuck with me and hopefully can give some comfort again to people is that just because things are the way they are now doesn't mean that's the way they're going to be forever. So just know that things will change, and the best thing you can do is be prepared for it. So just kind of reflect on your own circumstances and look at some plans if you have goals to buy a house, or if you're moving up or downsizing, or maybe you have a job change coming up and you'll need to move to a different area. Know what your options are, and contacting a lender is definitely the best place to start. Or reach out to GenRI to look at any neighborhoods in the area, or just get a feel for what you have as options to start with.
I mean, I'll even share my plan. Cody and I, we've written 4 offers over the last 4 months, and we have not got them accepted because we're contingent. We have to sell our house. So I talked to Cody, my hubby, and you know, he's finally on board with me to list our house because I think that's what we need to do. And I feel like the way 2024 is going to be, it's going to be way too competitive if we wait till summer. So our game plan is we're going to be listing late January, probably early February, and then get our house in escrow, and then we'll be in a really good position to buy the house that we want. So
That'll be good.
in case any one of you are in a situation like that and you're wondering what to do, there you go. That's our plan. So reach out if you have questions.
Excellent.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everyone. Cheers.